Demos are meant to be fun. Furthermore, early access games are meant to give players a front seat at the evolution of the game. When you're not updating your game, there's no evolution. I recently picked up the Heartbound demo for the same reason that anyone picks up a demo. Actually, that's not true. I have ill intentions. But I picked it up because I wanted to see if, playing this demo makes me want to play the full game. Would I spend $10 on an unfinished game that might eventually be finished? And I play a lot of demos. I like to play demos. I think it's a great way to understand a game, specifically an indie game. I think there's like an art to creating a demo, specifically creating a demo. A demo I recently played that I really, really enjoyed was the Aethermancer demo, which ironically is from Off-Brand Games, which Pirate Software used to be affiliated with. I have some opinions. Why does anyone play a demo? It's to see if they're going to like a game. And so I personally don't think I need to buy the $10 full version of Heartbound to give an opinion on whether or not I think the game is good. Now, a lot of people have covered the code behind this game, specifically because a lot of Pirate Software's claims of being like a pro seasoned veteran game developer, game creator, whatever. But I don't have the experience or like the authority to kind of speak on that. Like, I'm definitely interested in game development and coding and things like that. And I've taken classes, so I know like the bare minimum, but I could in no meaningful way give any kind of comment on his code. These videos and creators have made content that either covers the drama, which is something else I don't really want to talk a lot about, or specifically covered like his code and why it kind of illuminates that he's a bad coder, or at least he's not as good of a coder as he says. But again, that's not really my words, those words that I'm parroting from another creator, because again, I don't have that experience. But I do have experience playing video games and a lot of different kinds of video games, but unfortunately not the one that would probably be the best in this case, being Undertale. I've been asked many times by my chat and my viewers, my friends, to play Undertale, and I just haven't done it. And now I'm kicking myself because I wish I would have made this much better, because Thor himself holds Undertale to a very high regard. I'll play the clip.
Undertale is a brilliant goddamn game. It's very good.
His obsession with Undertale kind of shows, at least on the surface level, with this game. And maybe he was thinking, he could create a game like Undertale and have this massive success of a title similar to Undertale. However, as we all know, because you even clicked this video for that reason, he's not having that anymore, or at least it's crumbling before his very eyes. But anyway, I want to talk about this game, this demo of a game, not even a full game really. I'm going to talk about this game in 3 sections: the look of the game, the visual identity, the story of the game, like what is actually kind of trying to draw me in, at least get me interested, and then the actual gameplay, which is, I think, in the same vein as the story. What is keeping me actually gripped? Because I play a lot of different looks of games. I literally have Elden Ring pulled up on my other monitor right now, and I'm talking about, Heartbound. So like, I am not opposed to playing a different look of a game. That almost doesn't affect me at all. It's the story and the gameplay that really, really matters to me, and I want to talk about that specifically. So in that same vein I was just talking about, let's talk about the look. I personally don't think the look is that bad. Now, is the code behind the look kind of bad? Maybe. Sure. That's what Coding Jesus says. I don't know, right? Like, that's not my opinion. I think the look of it is fine. I think there's some decent character design. I don't hate it. I will say some of the character design kind of feels ripped, like the Nightmare or whatever just looks like that one Ben 10 alien to me. And that's off memory. I'm going to put it on the screen right now, and I'm probably going to expose myself for having a horrible memory and bringing Ben 10 into this when he didn't deserve that. But really, it does feel like some of the things that I've seen in the demo are really inspired, which is okay. I'm not going to like hound on somebody for not having the most unique idea ever in the world, because you're making what I can only call like a love letter to Undertale with your game. So like, whatever, you're an inspired creator, whatever. I think that's where a lot of the good ends, or at least the acceptable ends, because yeah, the look is whatever. I'm almost never going to hold the look of a game against itself, especially if the story and the gameplay are intriguing, and it's not. Right into the story, I think it feels like it was written by a 12-year-old. Like, I professionally am a copywriter. I'm in between work right now, but I have spent a year as a copywriter at an agency, so I know professional writing, I know ad writing. Personally, I've been a creative writer since I was 12 years old. My aunt's an author, so she's really a big inspiration for me. So not only from a writing perspective, have things to say about the dialogue, but from like a reader, someone who likes to enjoy creative content, specifically written, dude, like this is your inspired story that you spent 10 years creating. It's not that good. Not even like, oh, it's cringy, it's corny. It is those things, but it's also just not compelling at all. I said this while I was actually playing the game. I don't think it's compelling at all. I think it's kind of boring. I think the things that you are supposed to latch onto, like the dog and like the familial storyline, you don't get a lot of that in the demo, but I do know that exists in the bigger part of the game. You're trying to hide your lore behind like walls and things that are supposed to get players interested in it, but really you're not good at the breadcrumbing. You're not good at the build up at all. So it kind of makes it really bad. There's no major payoffs in the demo for the story, which is fine, but I also think that's a bad thing, because if you don't have your major story elements, like in the Ethermancer demo that I played from Offbrain Games, there is the story. You learn a little bit about what's going on in the game, and you kind of get a good idea of what your end goal is going to be in the game. But I think the thing that really takes the center stage with the demo is the gameplay. Like, hey, when you play this game, this is the gameplay you're getting. And I really enjoyed that game. I have a video up about it. I have 2 videos. I have the gameplay footage and I have the commentary video I made about it. I think when you have games in demo, like I said, it's an art to create a demo that's really compelling and it gets people willing to spend money on your game. And lucky for Pirate Software, I guess, he had his platform, which was compelling people to spend money on his game. He didn't have to prove that he could make good games, and now it's kind of proven that he can't. That's even further like shown off when you play the game, the actual gameplay. I mean, a walking sim with like RPG elements and story, that's fine. I watched one creator's video about this, and he has some coding experience, at least he talked like he did, and he was saying that his game, Heartbound, could basically just be made in RPG Maker with no coding involved, except for the very few actual combat elements there are. And I will say the combat element is fine in the Nightmare boss fight, which you're seeing right now, but it's so basic, it's so like whatever, that like I would play those pop-up ads that come in between you're playing a mobile game. I would play that on my phone, but that's all I would consider this good for. Like, I don't consider this like the main combat of your game, and it seems like that's what the combat style is in whatever is actually developed in the full version of the game. And that's just kind of unacceptable from a gaming perspective. The gameplay should be, at least in part with your story, but kind of the leading element of your game, because why else play a game? If I just wanted a good story, I'd watch a movie. If I wanted a good story, I'd watch a TV show, I'd read a book, I'd watch a YouTube video. Like, I can get good stories elsewhere. I think the thing that makes a game unique is that it's interactive. So if the interactive aspect of your game is not enjoyable, it's not compelling, it doesn't keep me around, then why am I spending money on your game? Why? Literally, why? I will buy visual novels because they are better at like engaging me, because I know what I'm getting. Yeah, it's a point and click, right? Or it's not even that, I'm literally just watching whatever. I will spend money on that if I know that what I'm getting is what I paid for. And I think that is the big problem with Heartbound from, you know, the people I've seen that have played the full game. I keep saying full game, it's not a full game. Keep playing the like early access of the game versus the demo. But you shouldn't even have to play the early access to figure out if you want to play the game or not. You should just have to download the demo. And for me personally, maybe I like my expectations are too high because I've seen people praising it. Of course, they're his fans, but you don't create an experience that's lackluster and then expect people to turn around and spend money for you, to take a chance on you. But again, it goes back to, it's kind of not a risk for him. He has his audience that he can just say, I'm making a game, and they'll support him with $10. They probably, I mean, his biggest supporters gift subs, they spend money, you know? So I would just say, zooming all the way back out, when you are creating a game, especially a game that like you're either putting in early access or you're an indie solo dev, whatever, a demo is crucial to the success or the early success of a game, especially if you don't have a platform, which almost every single developer doesn't have one, not to the level of Pirate Software. So you're telling me that in all of your experience creating games that you can't create a good demo, which I could almost believe, because when I look at like Blizzard, right? I'm not playing demos of games like that because their reputation precedes them, right? I bought the first Overwatch because everyone loved it. I got Overwatch 2 because it was free. Like, that's just one Blizzard game. But I am honestly hard pressed to believe that even 20 years of QA experience doesn't translate to a decent demo experience. It's kind of surprising in a horrible way that I did not play this demo and at least feel like, yeah, $10 for an unfinished game, the code might suck, whatever. That's not my prerogative. I don't know enough about coding to care. I at least would enjoy playing this game and letting it come out if I didn't care about like everything else that's happening in the situation with Pirate Software and morals, ethics, whatever you want to call it. That's not happening. That's not happening. In conclusion, because I'd rather not ramble, demos are meant to be fun. Furthermore, early access games are meant to give players a front seat at the evolution of the game. When you're not updating your game, there's no evolution. Hades 2, been in early access for a while, but I've been playing that game since it was in early access, and the amount of content that's been added and the way that the game feels, I am perfectly happy with the amount of money I spent on Hades 2, and the game isn't even completely done yet. Like, I am completely 100% happy. I don't even know how many hours I put in Hades 2. Let me check. I have played 173 hours, almost 174 hours of Hades 2, because that is an early access game that is playable, enjoyable, consistent content, more patch notes. Like, it baffles me that here I am basically talking about the drama. It baffles me that your career is in game development and you stream on the side. Maybe he's never said that, I don't know, but it baffles me that like your biggest part of your career and experience is in game development and like you just can't do it. I don't know why, but you just can't. Not to the level at which you want people to assume you can. I don't think you can have it both ways. This is the only thing I'll say about that, and I'm going to end it with it. You can't make piss poor games but then act like you are a god at video game development, and I think that's kind of the problem altogether. You make shitty games, but you act like your shit doesn't sink. I don't know. The demo sucks, and I think I'm going to go as far to say as people shouldn't buy the game. I don't just not support it. I don't think people should buy the game.